Hello students, in this session we are going to learn how to write a 64-bit ALP to convert a 4-digit hex input to 5-digit BCD output. So basically we are going to convert a hex number which is of 4-digit to BCD which is of 5-digit, right? So our standard input for this code will be 4 times capital F and output will be 65535 which is BCD, right? So this is the largest number in the hex, 4 times capital F, and the largest number in BCD is 65535. So whenever I will be giving this input, I should get this 5-digit output. Now we have seen the division instruction. So in this division instruction, we need a dividend and a divisor. So whatever the hex input we are taking, we should divide it by A. So this hex input is a word. Its size is word, 16-bit. And we are dividing it by a byte, that means a 8-bit number. So whenever you are taking a input 4 times F, this should be compulsory present in the accumulator. This should be compulsory present in the accumulator. And the divisor should be present in the register BX or BL, BH, you can take anything, right? Now, here after division, the quotient will be stored in the accumulator and remainder will be stored in the data register. Okay, so in the first cycle, when we divide this 4 times F, capital F, by capital A, then we get a quotient 1999 and we get a remainder as 5, right? So this will be stored on the stack. Now next, we are going to check in this division operation, we are going to check whether the quotient has become 0. Unless and until the quotient which is present in the accumulator, it becomes 0, then only we will come out of the loop and we will get the actual remainders, the number, the expected output, right? So this 1999 is not equal to 0. So in the second cycle, I will divide it again by capital A. Then I will get a quotient in the accumulator as 28F and remainder as 3, right? Now again 28F is not equal to 0. So in the third cycle we will divide it by capital A. Then we will get 41 as a quotient and 5 as the remainder. Next, this 41 is not equal to 0. So in the fourth cycle we divide it by capital A. We get a quotient as 6, remainder as 5. Since this 6 is not equal to 0, in the fifth cycle, we divide this 6 divide by capital A and we get a quotient 0 and remainder will be 6. Now, these remainders are stored in the data register. That means in the stack they are stored. Now, we are going to pop these single digit numbers and immediately we are going to convert into hex to ASCII hex so that it will get displayed on the monitor. Now let's go through in detail the logic behind this code. Here I created a macro of 4 parameters whose name is scall, right? So the first parameter, I am passing it into array_x. This first parameter is the function number either for syswrite or sysread. Second parameter, I am passing it into RDI. So this will be the file descriptor for either standard input device or standard output device. The third parameter, we are going to pass it into RSI. So this is the address of the memory location. The fourth parameter is the RDX. We are passing it into RDX. Here we are going to pass the number of bytes to be read or to be displayed, right? Then we are going to call the kernel using syscall, and we are going to end macro with %end macro. Next, in section.data, I have declared two variables m1 and m2. Now in section space.data, m1 is a variable name, db is the assembler directive known as define byte. You can write here 10d, 13d at the start, or you can write it at the last also. It doesn't matter, right? So here enter 4-digit hex number, or you can copy this at the last. Give comma here and copy here. M1 db, enter 4-digit hex number, double quotation, comma 10d, 13d. So you can give it at the start or at the end. Then next we are going to calculate the length of this string which is stored in M1. So that length we are going to store into L1 variable. We are going to use the assembler directive known as equate. $m is the end of the string and M1 is the start address of the string. So this will work as L1 equal to $- M1. Then we'll get the actual length of this string which is stored in M1. So in the similar way, I have written here M2, declared M2 variable whose size is defined byte. I have allocated 1 byte of memory, and in that I have stored this string. The equivalent BCD number is, right? And the length of this string is stored into L2. We have calculated into L2 and stored into L2, right? Next, section.bss. BSS stands for block starting symbol. In this, we are using reserve directives, while in section.data, we are using assembler directives. So I have declared here 3 variables known as buff, whose size I have allocated as 6 byte. RESB stands for reserve byte. So 6 byte has been allocated. Then the next variable I declared is the digit count, whose size is 1 byte, and char answer reserve byte. That means I am allocating 4 bytes for this, right? Next, in section.text, we write global space underscore start, the next underscore start colon. So this is the actual syntax we are going to follow. In C language, we write hash include, then that angle wala bracket stdio.h. So in the same way, here also we have some syntax we have to follow. Section space dot data, section space dot text, section space dot bss. Why I am saying space? So that you should understand that there is a space between section and dot data, section and dot bss, section and dot text. Okay, global space underscore start, right? So whenever a compiler reads this underscore start, the compiler comes to know that from here the actual code is going to start, right? So I invoked a macro. Invoke means I called a macro by its name as call. 1 comma, first parameter is 1, second is 1 comma m1 comma l1. So this first one is for syswrite, second one is for file descriptor of standard output device. M1 is the memory location name, it will consider the address, and L1 is the length of the string which is stored in M1, right? So that here the first message will get displayed, enter 4-digit hex number, right? So After that, I have again invoked the macro. I have called the macro scall 0. First 0 is for sysread. Second 0 is for file descriptor of standard input device. Then buff, the third parameter. So this is the name of the buffer in which we are going to accept a 4-digit capital F, right? So after entering this 4-digit, we will be considered the enter key. So therefore it is taken as a 5. So here this is your buff, and your input is capital 4 times F. So what is the ASCII hex value of capital F? It is 46. See, for A we have 41, for B we have 42, for C we have 43, for D we have 44, for E we have 45, and for F we have 46. So these are the ASCII hex values for capital A to E. So when I press a key capital F, then 46 will be stored into buff, right? So this will be 46, this will be 46, this will be 46, since we are accepting 4F. Okay, next, after that, we are calling the accept procedure. So in the previous code, we have seen how this accept procedure works. So what is the task of this accept procedure? To convert this ASCII hex into hex and store the actual value in the register, right? So now the control will be transferred to the procedure accept proc here, okay? Right, then next, so XOR BX comma BX. So what is the value? Instead of XOR, you can write move BX comma 0H. When we XOR the same content, we get 0, so therefore BX value will be 00H, right? Then next, RCX content is 4, so your RCX is 4 times since we are accepting 4-digit input, therefore the counter register will be 4. Right? So it will be 4. Okay. Now, next. Now you're going to need a pointer to read the contents of this buffer, right? So I am taking here RSI as a pointer. So this RSI will be pointing to the first element of the buff. So buff move buff comma RSI, that means the first address of this buff is moved into RSI, right? So therefore RSI will be pointing here. Now next is shift left, or you can use here ROL. Okay, shift left the content of BX by 4 bits. So since BX is having 0 at the start, the content of the bx will be remain as it is by 4 bits, right? Then next, move the content of RSI into AL. So what is the content of RSI? It is 46H, right? Next, compare it with 39H, right? Now you are going to compare this with 39H, okay? Since this 46H is greater than 39, so therefore it will not execute this label, right? So it will execute subtract AL comma 07H. So this will be AL equal to AL minus 07H. So therefore what is AL now? 46H minus 07H, right? So now we will get 3FH, capital FH, right? So the current content of AL is 3FH. Immediately after this instruction we have subtract AL comma 30H. So therefore AL equal to AL minus 30H. So therefore what is the current content now? 3FH minus 30H. So actually I got 0FH, capital FH, okay? Next, after that, add bx comma ax. That means bx equal to bx plus ax. Add the content of ax with bx and store the result in bx. So what is the current content of bx? It is 4 times 0 h plus, what is the current content of ax? 000 capital F H. So we got in bx 000 F, right? Next, increment RSI. So RSI will point here, okay? Next, after that, I have used here loop instruction. I have used here loop instruction. That means the RCX will get decremented by 1. RCX will get decremented by 1. Since this content of RCX is not equal to 0, so therefore we will jump to next digit. We will jump to label next digit. So again shift left the content of bx by 4 digit. So here the bx content will be 00 F 0H. That means the F which was present at unit place, now it has become it has been shifted to tens position, okay? Next, after that, move the content of RSI into AL. So what are the content again? It is 46, again 46H, right? Next, compare it with 39. So after comparison, we are going to do the same things. That means this 46 is greater than 39. So therefore subtract 7, we will get 3F. Then after that subtract 30, we will get 0FH. Now add the content of BX with AX. So BX equal to BX plus AX. So what is the content of BX? It is 00F0. 00F0H plus what is the content of AX is 000F. Therefore, what will we get? 00 capital double FH, right? Now we got 2 F converted from ASCII hex to hex. Now next, again increment RSI. So RSI will point here, right? RCX will get decremented. In the previous code we have written decrement RCX instruction, but here I have used a loop instruction. This one I have used this loop instruction, right? So therefore, what is the task or what is the purpose of this loop instruction? It will check the content of this RCX register. If it is equal to 0, it will come out of the loop. If it is not equal to 0, again jump to the loop label, right? So it will jump to next digit, again shift left the content of BX. So after shifting left, it will become 0 double F 0 H, right? Now after that, move the content of RSI into AL. So AL is again 46H, right? AL is again 46H, compare with 39. Then we will subtract 7, we will get 3F. Then we will subtract 30, then we will get 0FH, right? Now add BX comma AX. So BX equal to BX plus AX. So therefore, what we are going to get? 0 double F 0H plus 000FH, right? So this means I got now 3F. Okay, next after that, increment RSI. So now RSI will point to the last element of the array, the buffer, not array, buffer. Then decrement RCX. Now RCX has become 1, right? RCX has become 1 now. And since the content of RCX is not equal to 0, so loop again, jump to the label next digit, shift the content of BX by 4 bits. Now what is the content of BX here? 000 triple FH. Now after shifting, it will become shift left by 4 bits. Right? So it will become triple F0H, right? So just a minute. Right now the BX has become triple F0H. Now after that, copy the content of RSI into AL. So again the content of AL is 46H. So compare it with 39, it is greater. So subtract first 7, then we will get 3F. Again subtract 30 from that, we will get 0FH. Now after that, add the content of BX and store it again into BX. So what is the current content of BX? It is triple F0H. So triple F0H plus 000FH. So finally we will be getting here 4 times FH. So the final content of BX is 4 times FH, what we entered as a input, right? So this is our final content. So now after that, increment RSI. RSI will point to next location, but it is a vacant. Then next, decrement RCX. So now it has become, RCX has become 0. So this loop instruction will check the content of RCX and it will come out of the loop and it will return this BX value. It will return this BX value here, right? So after call accept proc, it will jump here, and now in the accumulator we are, see, what is the current value of BX? It is 4 times FH, right? Now what will, since we are copying it into AX, so the content of AX will be same as BX, this one here. Okay, now next, after that, since we got this input, I told you we are going to divide this 4 times F by capital A. So therefore we are going to put this number into accumulator, since this is a dividend and our divisor is capital A, right? So therefore from BX we copied into accumulator, and after that we have called the procedure hex to BCD. So the compiler will jump here where the procedure name gets matched. Now in this we are having, in AX we are having 4 times FH. So this is your dividend. Next we have in BX 0 AH, which is a divisor, right? Then next, so in the DX we will be getting a remainder. So right now we have XOR the content of RDX with RDX. That means we have made this content of RDX 0. You can here write move RDX comma 0. When we XOR the content, same content, then we will get 0, right? So therefore the DX is 00H. Okay, next. You can take here RDX also, doesn't matter. We will take DX, right? Next, DIV RBX. So whenever a division instruction is written, it will be having only a single operand, and that operand will be a divisor. The another operand is present in the accumulator, right? So this AX is accumulator, is present in accumulator, and BX is present in base register. That means divisor is present in base register, right? Now whenever this div instruction is called, right, then it will do like this: RAX divided by RBX. Then we get a quotient into RAX and remainder in DX. So here, so this 4 times F divided by, see, we have moved the content of divisor as 0AH. So therefore divided by capital A, then the quotient will be 1999 here, and push DX. So we get 5 as a remainder, right? Next, after that, this, after pushing the content of this onto the stack, increment byte digit count. See, we have declared this digit count here. Okay, so in this I am going to count how many remainder digits I am getting, right? How many remainder as a digits I am getting. So now increment, so it has been incremented by 1. So the current value of digit count is 1, right? Next, compare the content of RAX with 0. What is the content? 1999. Is it equal to 0? No. So therefore JNE stands for jump if not equal, right? JNE stands for jump if not equal. So jump if not equal to label back. So it will jump here at the back. Again, next, make the content of RDX 0, right? So RDX should be always it should be made 0. So this we are going to store on the stack. Push on the stack. We are writing here push RDX. The content of this RDX is pushed onto the stack. So therefore now this will remain this dx will become vacant. This dx will become vacant, right? Next, after that, div rbx. So 1999 divided by capital A, then I will get 28f, right? And remainder I will get as 3. Okay. Next, again after that, push dx. So push it onto the stack and this dx will be vacant next time. Okay. So increment by digit count. So I got the second remainder, so increment it, right? Then next, after that, compare the content of RAX with 0. So here 28f is not equal to 0. So therefore jump to the label back. So here we are jumping to the label back, right? After that XOR the content of RDX with the same. So 3 XOR 3 we will get 0. So now here remainder will be 0. That means it is a vacant, right? Compare div rbx. So 28f after dividing it by capital A, we get the quotient as 41 and remainder as 5, right? Okay. Next, after that, push dx. That means this value, push it on the stack, right? Now after that, increment byte count. So we got now third remainder, right? So therefore it has been incremented by 1. Then next, compare the content of RAX. It is 41. It is not equal to 0. So again jump to label back, right? Again jump to label back. XOR the content of RDX. So now RDX will be vacant. That means 0, right? Next, div rbx. So 41 divided by capital A. So what is the content of rbx? Capital A. So it will be dividing the content of the accumulator, that is 41, right? So 41 divided by A, I get here 6 as the quotient and remainder as the 5, right? So this remainder 5, again push dx, that means it will be pushed onto the stack, right? Then next, right, after pushing onto the stack, increment the counter, that means it has become now 4 digits. We got 4 remainders. Next, compare with 0. This 6 is not equal to 0. So therefore jump if not equal to back, right? Now XOR RDX. So RDX को XOR किया तो वो हो गया 0. Next, div rbx. So 6 divided by capital A, I got the quotient as 0 and remainder as 6. After getting the remainder as 6, push dx, that means push here, we got it here, right? Next, increment by digit count. So now it has become 5. So we have got 5 digits. Compare RAX. Now it is equal to 0. So it is jump if not equal, but it is equal to 0. So come out of the loop and display the second message, right? Display the second message. See here I have displayed the second message. Okay. Now we are going to display the content of the stack in reverse order. right? We are going to display the content of the stack in reverse order, this one, right? So pop dx. So what is the first content of the stack? It is 6. So this after popping, so what is the content of dx? It is 6. So after popping, add immediately dl comma 30h. dx में क्या है? 0006h, right? What will be the content of dl? It will be only 06h, right? So add dl with 30h. So dl equal to dl plus 30h, that means 06h plus 30h. Then I will get 36h. Then I will get 36h. So in this print BCD, I am going to convert single digit from hex to ASCII hex, so that it will get displayed immediately on the monitor, right? So after converting this DL, put it into char answer. Put it into char answer, right? So here 36h is put into char answer. Decrement byte digit count. See, now here we are taking, what is our digit count? It is 5, since we got here this one, right? So the final count of digit count is 5. So I have taken here 5. Now decrement it by 1. That means I converted one single digit from hex to ASCII hex. So therefore it is decremented, right? Now this has become 4. J and Z. Jump if not equal to 0 to label print BCD. Who is not equal to 0? Digit count. So when this digit count is not equal to 0, then jump to label print BCD, right? So again pop dx. So what is the next value? It is 5. So here dx value is 5, right? So in DL 05h will come, right? Add DL comma 30h, that means 05h plus 30, I will get 35h, right? And this 35h, put it into char answer. So this will become 35h. So immediately, see, immediately after converting it, I am displaying single digit, right? So this will occur within a microseconds. Single digit I am converting and immediately displaying it. Okay. After that, decrement byte digit count. So it has become now 3, right? Now again, just a minute. Now here char answer has become 35h, right? After that, is the digit count equal to 0? No. So again pop dx. So what is the next value of this? It is 5, right? So this 5 is present in dx. Right? So DL will become 05h. This DL will be put into DL means 05h. Add with 30. I got 35h. This DL, put it into char answer. So char answer will become 35. So immediately display this 5 also. Right? Next, after that, decrement byte digit count. Now it has become 2. Right? After that, is it equal to 0? No. So jump to label print BCD. Pop dx. What is the next element? It is 3. So again, Next, what is the next value of dx? It is 3, right? So when in dl we will take only 2 digit, therefore 03h. So add dl with 30h, so 03h added with 30, I got 33, which is the ASCII hex value of 3. Then next, put this value, converted value, into char answer. So immediately the 3 will get displayed. Okay. Next, now digit count get decremented by 1. Okay. Next, after that, since it is not equal to 0, pop dx. So what is the last element? It is 5. So dl will be having 05, only the last 2 digit. Add it with 30, we will get 35h, and in char answer 35 will be stored. So we will be on the screen, 65535. This is our expected output. This will get displayed onto the screen. So at the back end, this decrement digit count, now it has become 0. So it will come out of the loop, return here, right? So after this, calling this hex procedure, the function exit has been called, so it will come out of the code. Okay, I hope you understood the code. If you have not understood the code, revise, pause it, listen it once again, rewind the video, go to the next steps or previous steps, then you will understand it properly. Okay, thank you so much.